Hello, my smart, intelligent people. Hope you're having a wonderful time, wonderful day. I just want to say a few things about this Nicki Minaj episode that's going on. What is this? Part 500? When are we going to get smart enough to say, okay, we see you and we know exactly what you're doing and we don't have time for it? We need to start talking about making this a safe, clean environment for our children. We need to talk about getting a better education for our children. And we need to start talking more about cleaning up the neighborhood so our kids can walk to school and walk to the store in a clean place that don't look like a war zone. We're going to talk about having better teachers, better leaders. So we know you just a deploy that has been sent from the enemy. We're not going for it. That's what we will be saying. And also, I want to talk about something that I heard from the Heritage Foundation. How they are talking about, they are really talking about Jews, that they are almost being picked on like the Europeans did the Jews during World War One and World War Two. I mean, forever. Really, come on. When are we going to stop living in these people's mythical world? That is making the world into a great big science fiction. And this is what they worry about with their young ones. They say that they see a generation that is being taught the only truth is in the human will. Now, what does that mean? And they also want to rewrite history. Because for so many years, for the last 20 years, Black people have really been putting out their grievances on how they've been treated. All the way from being stolen from Africa to Jim Crow, Jane Crow, and being bombarded with all these hate groups, and how we are still being treated bad. And they don't want their young ones to feel bad because of people that look like them have done these terrible things. But we fail to realize that we need to start talking about how they have treated everybody, how they have killed everybody. Don't forget they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, however you say it. And we don't talk enough about Leopold, how he killed all those millions of Africans. How they have killed. They just don't like Black people. They don't like nobody that don't fit in their bubble. So we need to get off of that. Because they say that the past is presented to them as a dark time. Now, happily supersede, therefore they learn no edifying or useful history. So they are really, they really hate the educational system right now for some reason, because they think that their young ones are not being taught the way they should be taught. That their history is only magnificent. They're mad because they are starting to talk about Black history. And they don't want their white kids to know how great Black people were. that we was the rulers of the world, and how black people have been in every corner of the earth ruling. And it says the quest for truth dies not only in the humanities, but increasingly in the science. So they are going to, that's why they want to take over the education too, because they really want to attack the science. Because to think there's one right answer to a math problem has been derided as a racist concept. And of course, we confuse the sexes. And they also want to talk about Gloria Steinem attributes the feminists saying a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. So, and this is ignorance, she says. And such ignorance leaves boys free to become useless wimps or dangerous predators. It leaves too many women to themselves, even if they wish to face the fulfilling trial of children. Little wonder we are not reproducing even as a replacement level. Now, that's what gets to me. But you're killing people. Over 100,000 people die just from gun violence. And who wants to bring somebody into a world like this, where they are subject to be poor all their life, abused sexually, mentally, physically, not enough good food, not enough food, dumb all their life? Who wants to bring kids into a world like this? Why don't you try making a world that's worth coming into? Do they know how many people every year commit suicide? Murder? You got over 3 million people locked up behind bars? And then they're going to go on to say, little wonder that so many boys and girls gravitate toward different. Nobody's blaming the real reason, because white people are so greedy and so evil. Why do one man has $1 trillion and then you have a trillion people that have nothing? This is the world that you want people to bring children in. Get out of here. And I'm going to end with this. This is the great discovery that plagues our day. The sovereignty of history, of time, and of circumstance. Discovering there is no ought. We can break free by renovating everything according to our desires. This is why Nick Fuentes giggles while he calls for rape, the Gulag, the Auschwitz. Why thuggish Antifa mobs have become the vanguard of the mainstream left. Why so many deny the fact of two biological sexes and defend the sexual mutilation of children. As the torturer O'Brien proves to his student, Winston, in George Orwell's 1984. 2 + 2 = 5, or any number you please. This is why we need to be concentrating on more than what people like Nikki and Trump and all those other stooges are doing and saying. Because this is what they're teaching their young ones. The ones that are going to try to be leaders over our young ones. When are we going to wake up? Not the woke. When are we going to get smart and get strategic and stop letting us lead us to a trap? Because if we don't do it now, what are our kids going to do? Because they do what we do. They do what we say. So if we ain't not getting smart now, what's going to happen to our kids? That's why I say we need to do our own research. We need to listen to these people that is pulling the strings. Thank you.